And welcome back. Tom Payson, the Talk of the Town. As you know, we traditionally do, we help you with your election matters. Today, again, with Ernie Robertson, the Caddo Parish Registrar of Voters here at the offices downtown Shreveport, with an election 2011 update. Because 2011, not only an election year early, but a bigger election year as it comes later this fall. Ernie Robertson is here. Ernie, we've been talking about
moving out. We're staying here. We're not moving out. It looks like we're moving out, but we're not.
Well, what is all this? It looks like you've got bags going on to a jet.
This is actually, these are the early voting machines. And every once in a while, they got to be updated a little bit, and so we're going to get those updated at the same time. This is the real story, Tom. These are about 161,000 voter registration cards and all the attachments that go with them. And these are fixing to be digitally scanned by the Secretary of State's office with help from some of our staff down in Baton Rouge. And they'll be out of here. We'll run the April 2nd election, but they're going to be out of here probably 7 or 8 weeks while these are getting scanned. And that way, in case we have a hurricane or more likely a tornado up here or some other disaster, we actually have a record, not a paper record, but we will have the record digitally of everything, and we're keeping our records. Now, it was a choice of the parishes, and I chose to keep our records. So they'll be coming back up here. We'll put them back in the files. We'll still have that and do dual maintenance on them, but I think it's a better choice.
Well, look at this. If you would, just take a look at all these files and records. And here's applications registered January 14th, 11 through February 16th, 2011. I mean, all of these probably, if you look at everything, Ernie, and you said there's about 161,000.
161,000 voters, but every voter may have 3 or 4 attachments to their records, whether that's a party change, an address change, or some other update. So there's probably over 500,000 pieces of paper.
Wow. And so the good news is, because the state of Louisiana is and has been going high-tech, this will make even more so the caddovoter.org site even more proactive.
It really will, and this is a great idea. I was totally supportive of this concept. It's something we've needed for years, and they're using some of the money from the Help America Vote Act they had left over after they bought machines, and so they're using that for this particular project.
Well, there you have it. Now you see what we're doing and where we are. And voting machines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about 15 of them, Ernie.
About 15. We can put out 12 usually during the biggest election. That's what we had this past fall. We had 12 of them out. Then you want to have a couple of spares. Just in case one of them goes down, you've got a spare that you can pull up immediately.
And again, Tom Pace with Ernie Robertson, the Caddo Parish Registrar of Voters here in Shreveport, Louisiana. And Ernie, I guess the big news is there is an April 2nd election coming up for 2011.
Right. There's April 2nd election, and not everybody in Caddo can vote on this one, so that's the first thing we've got to talk about. It's for the city of Shreveport. They have a bond proposition, 3 bond propositions, so if you're a registered voter inside the city, then you can vote on this particular issue on April the 2nd. And then also we have a special election for Caddo Commission District 2 because Rose Wilson McCulloch got elected on the city council, so we're putting a replacement in that's going to serve from the election in April through the fall elections, and then we'll have another new person in the fall elections after we get through with the reapportionment.
So this is a kind of a stopgap person to be elected, and then there was one other one, and I understand Joyce Bowman is unopposed at this point.
She's unopposed at this point.
Alrighty, so that's your District 2 commissioner, if you would, that you'll be voting on. But Ernie, there are some the propositions are the big thing for most of Shreveport, correct?
Right, and just quickly, there are 3 different bond propositions. The first one is $93 million. All of these are 20-year bond props, but it's $93 million, and it's going to cover water and sewer systems. And then the second one is $38 million for parks, public buildings, police, fire, and finance departments. And the third one is $44 million for highways, bridges, and drainage systems. So So all the voters in Shreveport can vote on those three propositions, and there are three separate propositions. You can vote yes on one, no on the other one, skip the last one if you want to. So there are three different votes that you have there.
I guess the most important thing that a lot of the citizens in Shreveport especially are looking at is the water and sewer infrastructure that seems to be having issues. So this is by no means something to just kind of write off. This is huge.
Yeah, this is an important thing to go vote on. This really is, and I'm going to encourage everybody to please go vote. But this is one of those that is really, it's nuts and bolts, but it's really important nuts and bolts. And then we get to the Caddo Commission District 2 election, and only the people in that district can actually vote on the special election Caddo Commission. So I'm going to have to consult with my notes to tell you exactly where all the polling places are, and that'll give you an idea if you can vote in this one. Northside Elementary, J.S. Clark School, Bilberry Recreation Center, Newton Smith, Lakeshore Elementary School, Pine Grove Elementary School, David Raines Center, Northwood High School, Lakeview Baptist, and it's kind of mostly MLK and north up into the Northwood area, as well as going over into the Queensboro area whenever you get to Lakeshore Elementary School and Bilberry Park. So all those voters there can vote in the Caddo Commission election, and some of them, Tom, can vote if they're inside the city. They can vote on the bond proposition. So if people have a question, they can give us a call, 226-6891, or they, of course, can go to the website at Caddo Voter. That's caddovoter.org.
That's the most important thing. That's accessible 24/7. And let's now that you've mentioned this, what about registration for this election coming up? And is it all done? If somebody says, I want to vote in it, where do we stand right now?
You can still register to vote or make changes to your record through March the 2nd. March the 2nd is the key date, and then we're going to start early voting on this election on March 19th, which is a Saturday. Then we'll be closed on the Sunday. Then we open up on March 21st on Monday, and we run through March 26th, and we're open 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day right here in the other part of the office because we've moved early voting out of here. And so you can come by here and early vote March 19th through 26th.
Again, Ernie Robertson heads up a crew of highly qualified individuals that make it easy for you, and they want to do this just make it as painless as possible. That's why the website Caddo Voter, CADDOVOTER.org, is so important, because there are links to literally every question that you might have. And I guess the number one with a bullet, you and I have always talked about it, but we'll go back to it. Where do I vote?
Well, you can go on caddovoter.org and you can find out. Just click on where do I vote, and you can check and find out where you vote. And people can also register to vote online now in Louisiana. We're one of the first 6 states to have that. And you can go on there and register to vote. And then, Tom, this fall, we got some big elections coming up this fall.
That's what we were talking about. Now, while April 2nd is sort of like the shot across the bow, coming up, this is going to be a full statewide election year for Louisiana, correct?
Right. We're going to vote on all the statewide officials, all the parish-wide officials, and then we're going to vote on parish commission, as well as the state reps and state senators once they figure out where their districts are. And I took a look at some of the numbers here in Caddo and worked with them yesterday with the consultant for the parish, Gary Joyner. And I got to be honest with you, Tom, it's going to be an interesting year for reapportionment, because probably in Shreveport, this is the biggest change I've seen in 3 different times going at reapportionment.
Wow. So now we're looking at drawing redistricting lines and who's going to be representing what areas?
Right. And it's really different because so many people have moved out of the old historic traditional neighborhoods, and they've moved further and further out. And the way I kind of look at it, Shreveport has started to sag a bit toward the south, and you just got so much population concentrated basically south of 70th Street. So it's going to be a real chore for the Parish Commission. First will be one of the bodies that go at it first. And, of course, the same numbers are used by the state reps and state senators. So it's going to be a real interesting year, and they also got to do congressional reapportionment. Down at the state legislature, not up here.
Yeah, and we'll give that to them. Now, Ernie, after we get through April and we're coming up into these state elections, kind of give us a timeline. When is registration? When will they kind of like kick off the campaigns and all this?
Well, you'll see qualifying the week after Labor Day, so that's going to be early September. The election's October 22nd for the primary, and so you're going to see early voting ending around October 15th, starting around October 8th, in that range. And so people have to be mindful of football schedules, because we're going to be playing, of course, LSU football, as well as a lot of other colleges. And then we're going to have the runoff election in November. And it's really important, Tom, for people to realize that, they're running from governor all the way down, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, all the state reps, all the state senators, and those guys got to get reapportioned, as well as the Caddo Parish Commission and all the parish-wide guys.
And the one other thing that you might want to remember, even though we just recently had an election for the lieutenant governor and for the secretary of state, those were just interim, letting them fulfill that emptiness, if you will, in that office until now they're actually running for re-election.
Right. You'll see both on the lieutenant governor. It'll be a full term this time, as well as secretary of state.
Well, if you are confused about anything, the good news is caddovoter.org. caddovoter.org is your website. You're seeing that now, but copy and paste the link, send it to a friend, because the more that we have registered, the more your voice is heard in this democratic process. And Ernie, right now, what is the percent of voters registered?
Well, we have about 161,000, and we're sitting about where we've been, right in the 85-86% range of registration of those who are 18 and above. And I haven't looked at the exact new census numbers. I'm going by the projection. Not all the census numbers are out yet. So we were sitting there. I think that's about where we're going to wind up. And that's a pretty good percentage for a major jurisdiction.
Well, there you have it. In succinct words, this is Election 2011, brought to you by the Caddo Registrar of Voters Office here in Shreveport, Louisiana. Ernie Robertson's been doing this as the registrar for going on 21 years now.
21 years, almost 21.
Well, congratulations, and thank you for taking time to join us on this little trip down, updated digital lane, because all this will soon be digitally scanned, but they'll be back here, is that?
They'll be back here. We'll have them available if people need to look at their record, and we just feel like that was the best choice.
Tom Pace, the talk of the town. Election 2011 update. We'll see you soon.